All right. Welcome back to the Expert Style Lounge. We're excited to be back with you today, sharing some more tips from your three image experts. And again, we have previously recorded this. So, of course, we'd love to hear from you. And if you want to drop your comments in the comment section, we will definitely respond back. And we look forward to receiving your comments and questions. So feel free to drop those below. And today's topic is all about closet confessions, breaking free from stress and limiting beliefs in your wardrobe. Oh, this is a good one. Well, I feel like all of our topics are really good, but let's dive in, ladies. Courtney, do you want to kick us off?
Yes. I'm super excited about this topic. And if you've been with us for a while, you know that some of the things overlap. We talk about recurring themes, right? Because when it comes down to it, there are just some foundational things that I think we should all know. But I really want to get real in this discussion today, right? Like, how many of you have ever stood in front of your closet, and it's packed, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, but you're still convinced that you have nothing to wear, right? I think we've all been there at some point. And so today we're really going to unpack the hidden stress and those limited beliefs that are buried in your wardrobe. And we want to talk about how to shift your mindset so that it becomes more effortless for you. Okay. So that's what today is all about. So I really do believe that wardrobe overwhelm is real for a lot of people,
Very
especially
much so.
us busy professionals. So we want to talk about, decision fatigue at work, right? But what about when it happens in our lives, like in our closets? Like, what do you think getting dressed, or why do you think getting dressed is such a stressor, right? For so many professionals. That's what I want us to start off with.
Amanda,
Where do we begin?
where to begin with this one?
Right?
This is literally the
Exactly.
question that so many people, all the people I ask in doing this for over a decade, always respond very similar. Like nobody says like, "Oh yes, my closet is so organized and I know
Yes.
exactly
No,
what
we
I'm
never hear
doing."
that.
And
Nope.
I never, and I feel so empowered when I open it up. Nobody
Right?
ever says
Yeah,
that.
never.
Okay, never. So that's the confession. Especially when I do a talk or a workshop, I usually
hmm
ask that question, like, picture yourself standing in front of your closet. How does it feel? Most people say, I feel overwhelmed. I feel stressed. I feel frustrated. I feel like unmotivated. And so that is not a good place to be because that's how
No.
you start your day. We all
Yep.
have to get out of our homes and we wear clothing in the world. Nobody who walks around naked. I always say this. We
Unless
all have to put
nudist
clothes on.
colony.
Unless you live in a nudist colony, you have to wear clothes. And so you have to start thinking about your clothes as something that empowers you versus
hmm
opening your closet and feeling overwhelmed and stressed and frustrated. So I do think it's because people just have a lot going on and
Yeah.
it's the last thing that you want to be thinking about, but honestly it's the first thing that people see. So
hmm
that is the truth, right? It's how we view ourselves. The clothes that we wear is how we think about ourselves. So if you walk outside in your pajamas, and believe me, I see it often.
Oh, yeah. I
Okay, I
see it
live in
all
New
the
York City. I see people wearing literally pajama pants. I see people wearing baggy, very unflattering workout clothes or like, sweats, I'll say, like comfy sweats. It's like they just rolled out of bed. And I mean, what do you think is the impression? Now, I
time.
understand we're
hmm
just feeling like tired or overwhelmed or stressed, but that is literally, you are literally the walking embodiment of those things when you
Yeah.
dress that way.
Yep.
It's the truth. And maybe we don't want to admit it, but it is true. I know when we come home from work out of a long day, the first thing we want to put on is something comfortable,
Right.
right? And or if and this has been many studies, or if you're like, I have to go to the gym, right? and you don't feel like it, but
Mhm.
you put on your workout clothes,
Yes.
guess what?
Yes.
You've already put yourself in the mindset of, I'm going to go work out, right?
Yep.
It's just that one step closer. So we all know that the way we dress impacts the way we feel, our mindset, our
Mhm.
mood,
Mhm.
right? So why do you want
Yep.
your closet to be a place of overwhelm and stress? We want it to, don't you want it to be a place of feeling, open it up and feel empowered every day? You look at it and feel like, oh, I can't wait to just show up as the best version of myself. Like that's what
Right.
we all want for you. And
Right.
hopefully you'll get that from this session today.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And very similarly, Tavy, I start a lot of talks with, do all of you know that you have 100% of your clothing in your closet and that you're wearing 20% of it, and that is leaving 80% collecting dust, literally, wasting your time, stressing you out, and wasting your hard earned money. And I love the
Hmm.
reaction of people because they're like, oh my, yeah, yep, that is true. That is so true. And, going through the closet and, like you were just saying, opening it up and just, you almost feel like it's falling on you, especially when it's like so stuffed and you're just like
Mm-hmm.
weighted immediately with all of that. And then it's like, okay, some of you might have children and you're like, okay, I got to get, kids done, out the door, I have a crazy meeting today. I need to, be on point for it, or I'm looking at a new job opportunity, or, X, Y, and Z. And you're just immediately waking up and you're like opening that up and just feeling the weight and the stress. And then that's your mindset going
Hmm.
forward for that day. And you can also think about it in while you're, editing your wardrobe and shifting your mindset and doing that, closet cleanse, because it is, cleansing, is that think about the difference of how you feel walking into, say, like, a Nordstrom rack. And it's just, like the name, racks and racks and racks of clothing. So many options, so much to choose from, immediate decision fatigue and
Right.
immediate
Mm-hmm.
overwhelm.
Right.
Whereas
Mm-hmm.
when you walk into, a very high-end boutique,
Mm-hmm.
sparse, not as many options,
Right.
beautifully placed, beautifully, visual merchandising
Mm-hmm.
done. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
very different reaction that you're going to get from that.
Yeah.
And that's when, working with us, we can help you, shop your closet and edit it to that. But yeah, having so much will just put your mindset
Mm-hmm.
just not good first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and thank you for setting the foundation, ladies, because that's what this is all about. It is
Yep.
that science behind the decision fatigue, right? And how having all these excessive choices can really make us more frustrated than confident in the things that we're choosing. And
Mm-hmm.
I love that you pointed out that we only wear 20% of our
Yeah.
wardrobe
Yep.
and that we're keeping that other 80% just in case, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But those are emotional blocks that are stopping us, from being where we want to be, showing up how we want to show up. And that really is the psychology, right? There's this lack of whatever we have, and we need to reframe that. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to jump into that because one of the biggest limiting beliefs I think I hear from my clients is I'll upgrade my style when I lose weight, right?
Yeah.
Or when I
Mm-hmm.
get a promotion, or
Yep.
Yes.
when I have, a reason to dress up, because I don't really have a reason to dress up because I work from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Those are the things, right? So why is this thinking so dangerous and how can we help them shift it, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
For me, yeah, all the time that, and I empathize and I don't want to, like, nothing that I'm about to say is to shame anybody whatsoever in any way, shape, or form. But I do hear this, often of, I just want to lose 10 pounds. I just want to lose 5 pounds. And for me, I know that the client may or may not be ready to
Mm-hmm.
do the whole process because it is vulnerable and it is a process. And I know that they will come out the other side feeling amazing, looking amazing, having so much confidence, and just being like, wow, I didn't need to lose those 5 pounds. I didn't need to lose those 10 pounds. But also on the other side of, when chatting with a client about that, it's like, okay, well, do you have like a plan? Like, have you changed your diet? Are you going to the gym? Are you, starting with a great, mental, shift in that way that like that you're getting going on it? Because, oftentimes, again, no shame, nothing, that it may or may not be just an excuse to, well, next time, well, let's think of it later, but not knowing that taking that first step to say, yes, I'm investing in myself. I am worth it. I deserve it. And I am ready for this shift. And I am going to jump in with a personal stylist that has my best interest at heart. I'm kind of, getting on my little soapbox now. But oftentimes the personal stylists in the stores are air quotes stylists, and they want to sell you more clothing, and they want to sell enough to get a great commission, and they are not looking for your best interest. And we're here to truly help you, truly shift your mindset, and truly change your life. And it sounds silly, but we do. And that's my mini TED talk. I'm a little passionate.
Yeah. I think that it is a mindset thing, just like anything that we're wanting to change, right? Change is hard, and our mind wants to keep us safe. And so a lot of times we know we want to change, right? But it feels safe to stay where we're at. And so when it comes to your clothing, it's the same thing, like
it's
we
like
feel
a comfy
safe.
slipper.
Right. We feel comfortable. We feel safe. We don't feel, I mean, I literally had somebody say to me recently that she used to wear, or she tried wearing a bold color. And she was like, I wore red. And one time I wore this red outfit and everybody was commenting, right? And complimenting. And she said, I feel uncomfortable with that. I don't like attention. And so therefore she went back into, she retreated backwards into her comfort box, right? And I mean, so I personally don't work with many people that want that, but I found it interesting that that's what she said, right? Even though that color looked great on her, all the attention made her uncomfortable, right? So, and then just use that as an example, because most of my clients do want to step outside the box. They want to stand out. They want to get noticed, right? And that's the people I work with because they want to make an impact. And you cannot make an impact with you staying in a comfort box.
No,
a little safe. You cannot change things or change whatever it is that you want to change in the world if you stay small. And your clothing is also a part of that, because what we wear absolutely communicates. And so we have to be thinking about our closet as our toolbox. And when you go in your closet, what is in your toolbox so that you can actually use those items, those pieces of clothing to empower yourself and also impact those around you, because you're going to be the person that they notice when you walk in a room, right? And this is a lot of mindset stuff, right? Because I have a new client and she's gained weight, right? And she's lost her spark completely. There's a multitude of things going on in her life, right? Besides, the way she sees herself, right? Her self-image has taken a turn because it's just like kind of spiraled into all these different things. And now she's in a place where it's really going to be a lot of effort, right? To get out of that. And she's going to have to work at it, right? And I said, well, the first place you could start before you even lose the weight is in your closet. Pull out those items that make you feel good. Colors, patterns, accessories. Like there's things in there that you can put on and have an immediate of impact, right? Losing weight is definitely important, especially for health, right? If you are, like for her, it is going to be a health thing, but these things can happen quick, and then it automatically changes your mood and your mindset, right?
Yes,
So
big time.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love
Definitely.
all of that. And really, I think it boils down to, do you have a signature style,
Hmm.
or are you playing it safe, right? Because many professionals, they will just default to those safer things, right? Like
Hmm.
blacks or neutrals or the oversized stuff, because they don't want to take the opportunity or to really dress for their body type.
Yep.
But safe is not strategic, which is what
No.
we want to be
Hmm.
when we're dressing, right? So then, how are we, or how can professionals balance that comfort and the confidence while still working toward developing that personal brand in their style?
Hmm.
I mean, we've talked a
Hmm.
little bit about it. A lot of it has to do with being intentional, right? In
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
we're choosing and our colors and our fit in whatever our personal expression is, right? And what type of impact do we want to have? Are we in a position of authority and we want to show up a certain way? The credibility, all of it boils down to how people perceive you.
Yep.
Hmm.
But how can they balance the comfort and the confidence?
Yeah, I like to, start them with, pieces that are within their comfort zone and that they love, either like texture or fit or, like the structure of the clothing, keep some pieces that they are already comfortable in, they feel wicked confident in, and they are just, happy in. And then I love introducing a few other pieces on top of those pieces and say, let's elevate this. Let's step out of the box here. Let's try something that you haven't tried before. But I love mixing in some of the pieces that they are super comfortable with already. And or just saying, okay, that's your, comfort zone. You love X, Y, and Z. Let's just see what, 2.0 looks like. Let's just
Hmm.
try it on. We can always put it back. Let's just try it on, see how you feel, see what you think. And then I love for every single client that I work with when I'm really doing a mindset shift is that I love taking a picture, which I do with every single client of, every single look that we're doing that day, but then showing them the picture right after. Because I see so many times that when a client is making that shift and getting a little uncomfortable, that when, I've styled them up, I have popped them in, the area, I'm taking, a great pic of them, and then I show it to them. They're like, that's what I look like? This is me? And it's like, yes, this is you. This is
Hmm.
how, everybody sees you. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could look that good. I didn't know I look like that. And it's
Hmm.
when I really get like jazzed up and excited and I start to see the mindset shift and start to see, and I love by the end of the day that we're like, you know, so like shifted, happy. The client is just like, wow, like, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner. I don't know
Yeah.
why I was so worried. I don't know what my, thoughts were because this is amazing and I can't thank you enough. And that just like makes my heart so
Yeah,
happy
that's
because
the
I
best.
know
Hmm.
they're like
Hmm.
fully shifted. And then, checking in on them and making sure because like it's awesome. I love it.
Oh, yeah. There's always going to be resistance, when we have to change. And again, even changing your clothes, there's going to be a little bit of like resistance. And maybe that's why some people don't pull the trigger to work with us, right? Because they know they're going to have to change
Mhm,
something.
mhm.
And that might be uncomfortable. And the brain wants to keep you safe, like we said. So
Yeah, a
I
lot
think
of
it is
neuroscience
a lot
involved.
of neuroscience around this. I do think that, to Amanda's point, it's like I always say to people, I said, it's not about me changing you completely. It's
Nope.
about you stepping into like kind of this next level version
Yep,
of yourself.
yep,
It's not like this total 180 from who you
mhm,
are now, unless that's what they want. But for the most part, it's just like the better or the
yeah,
upgraded version. So that's why I always say it's an upgrade, right?
yep,
And I'm just the guide. I'm just here to tell you, and help you figure this out yourself, right? I ask a lot of questions in our
Me too.
first session,
Mhm.
and we dig deep into what's been holding them back.
Yep.
How do they want to see themselves, and what is their goal? And then once we have those answers, then all I do is guide them, right? Because now I have clarity on where they want to go and they have
Mhm.
clarity.
Mhm.
And then I'm able to give them a roadmap. I call that the blueprint because it's
Mhm.
all visual. And then we
Mhm.
can get on the same page about it and say, okay, is this what you were thinking? Because this is what you shared with me, and this is the
Yep.
visual
Yep.
representation of that. Then they can say to me, yes, that's it. Okay, now we got our plan. Let's go shop it, right? And now it's my job to find the brands in the budget that you want and the fit. And then I go and I plan that day. So we're already kind of we're in the journey together now.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then once we're at
Yeah.
the store, it's about having fun trying on these new things. And again, it's not about changing completely, especially with
No.
my male clients. It's more just like better fit, quality,
Yep.
maybe even a slightly nicer design detail because menswear isn't that different, right?
Mhm.
With my female clients, it's definitely a lot about, trying things that maybe they didn't try before,
Yep.
new colors, bolder
Yep.
colors, better silhouettes, other
Mhm.
brands that maybe they aren't familiar with. I guess both of them. I introduce new brands that they haven't tried because, there's so much out there,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
And we're inundated with the same brands trying to sell us, right? And so,
Absolutely.
we just sometimes have to step outside the box and try
Mhm.
something new, right? And that's what's about. That's why the shopping day in person is very important. Although I do the virtual shopping with certain
Mhm.
clients, I do feel it's way more impactful when we go together in person
Oh,
because,
huge.
right, it's a different
Huge.
experience
Yep. Big
completely.
time. Big
And
time.
so I do think you get more out of
Oh
that
yeah.
if,
Totally
especially if
agree.
you're somebody who is really
Mhm.
stuck in
Mhm.
your, kind of same old, and you need somebody to really be there and hold your hand through it. And
Mhm.
being with someone you feel comfortable with, like our first
Yeah.
couple sessions are about, even my first call with somebody, I need to have that call because they need to feel comfortable with me as their
Mhm.
guide, and I need to feel comfortable saying I can actually help you.
Right.
Maybe we're not the right fit, so we need to
Mm.
figure that out in the first
Yes.
conversation. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
can't, be a guide for every single person. It has to be a two-way street, and this is the journey we're going to go on together. So, anyway, I know I'm on
Yeah.
a tangent, but I
No.
do think it's important
No,
to
I
share
love
that
it.
part of the process. That's
And
why
Yeah.
then
we are different than just somebody in
Mhm.
a store that you would go to. Not that you
yes.
can't do that, but it's a
Right.
totally different process.
Completely.
Mhm.
And I want to jump on what you were saying about your gentleman clients. And it reminded me of gentleman client of mine that I was just working with. And it was so fun because he's a repeat client. And I love just like bringing in like some new elements to just be like, what if we try this? Because I'm so
Mhm.
excited. I've created a little fashionista in him now. So I love just
Mhm.
like, what do you think of this? What about this? And he
Mhm.
had a cocktail party to go to. And we did this gorgeous, gorgeous burgundy velvet sport coat, and it was just gorgeous. And then I love introducing like different pocket squares to like jazz it up even a little bit more. But it was the best when I was like, what do we think about some black patent loafers? And he was like, oh my God,
Mhm.
I'm so excited about these. And it's just so fun to like see the client be like, wow, I never would have thought about that. It's totally out of my comfort zone, but let's try it.
Mhm.
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 Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love
Mhm.
that.
I like that. Mhm.
What I was going to add, just thinking through the process, because like Tavia said, we all have these processes when we work with our clients. And I love the foundation when I talk to my clients about fit, fabric, foundations, right? What you're
Hmm.
wearing underneath your clothes, and even the function. What are you going to be doing in those things? So it's like when you define all of that, that's going to help you be more comfortable.
Big
And
time.
when you're more comfortable in your clothes, naturally you become more confident. So fit
Mhm.
is really key, right? Like you can't
Huge.
You can't be wearing things that are too big because it hides your shape. And you can't be
Yes.
wearing things that are so skin tight because then you're self-conscious. So,
Right. And
it's
sending a different
balancing
message.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Finding the right fit. Then when it comes to fabric, that's right. That's a
Mm-hmm.
no-brainer. Like when you're in breathable,
Yeah.
materials, naturally you're going to be more comfortable. So finding those materials that, work for your body type. Maybe you're somebody who's hot-natured or, cold-natured, finding those fabrics that fit. For the ladies, we cannot, overstress foundations, finding those right foundations that are comfortable.
Oh,
Like I
yeah.
hear a lot of women, who don't like, Spanx or anything like that. You don't have to do that if you don't want that. So let's find the
Oh,
things
yeah.
that are comfortable, but still help you look nice under your clothes,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
a new bra.
yeah,
99% of the women I
that
work with
fits.
are not wearing the right bra size.
They're not wearing the
New
right
bra.
size. Exactly. So just making sure you have on things that fit, bras that actually are doing their job,
And
things
or
that
a
are
matching
seamless,
set.
Yeah.
all those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, those things can be fun though. It doesn't have to feel, hard. And I think that's why employing the help of a stylist, we can help you
Yep.
just understand and feel good about those things. And then last but not least, when you really are wearing the things that are appropriate for
Mm-hmm.
the activities that you're doing, right? That also makes a big difference in the comfort and the
Yeah.
confidence. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring those things up. But
Yeah. And I wanted to say real quick, like the matching
Mhm.
set, like I love seeing my ladies go, oh my God, I'm gonna have a matching set of bra and underwear. Like I've never had that in my entire life. And it's like, you
Wow.
deserve this.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. You
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
So when we think about, how we help our clients, what's the secret to getting dressed in, a little bit of time, like not taking hours in the morning and still looking polished? Do you each have a style hack for eliminating that
Mm-hmm.
morning wardrobe stress
I
that
do.
people might
Yeah.
experience?
For sure. For me, it's obviously, and I think we all create an app for our clients, but creating that app so they can look on it and be like, okay, this outfit, let's go with that. And or I stress for my clients pre-planning, Sunday night, it's, fun and not fun. Take a few minutes, look at your calendar, see what's going on, set yourself up for success, take out those outfits. If you have outfits ready to go that I tell my clients all the time, like you might wake up Monday morning, the outfit that you picked out for Monday, you're not really, vibing with and you want to put on Thursday, but you have it right there. It's just grab
Mhm.
and go. It sets yourself up for success. And I think David Beckham is famous for doing this or saying that he has his rail of his outfits to go for the week. Granted, he has a wee bit more time than most of us do, but just taking a look at your calendar Sunday evening, Sunday afternoon, and just making a few quick outfits, getting them ready is just, it'll be such a time saver for you for the week. That's
Mm.
my secret.
Those are great tips. I think that I
Yeah.
love the app. Like I don't stress it enough. We
Yep.
we all use
Mhm.
our own app, and it's a service where we invest in. Right? Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
are paying for the app to help our
Mhm.
clients be more streamlined and organized. And I do
Right.
think it is so beneficial because we've already
Yep.
made the outfits for you, and we
Yep.
organize it in the app.
Yep.
Here's your looks and here's where you
Right.
wear them to, right? So each of my clients different, so I may organize it differently, but at least it's organized for them to understand.
Mhm.
I think in
Mhm.
the closet, I personally, this is what I do for clients is I actually organize their closet by wearing occasion,
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle. So all their
Mhm.
work clothes go together, all their whatever clothes, go, these each get sectioned because to me, when you're getting dressed for work, if you have a 9 to 5 job, right, Monday
Mm-hmm.
through Friday, your those are your key outfits for the week. So they should have their own section. And you don't want to mix and match all these things together. To me, that feels like overload. So I like to organize it by like, here's your work looks, here's your shirts, here's your pants, put them by color, organize them a bit. Here's your blazers. I mean, even I do this. I put all my blazers together, all my shirts
Yep.
that I would wear, kind of dress up together. All my dresses are together because to me, it makes more sense because I don't have to overthink, when I go in my closet. If everything's together, I'm going to be like, what do I pick? And that's just my way of feeling a little less stressed. So
Right.
I like to
Yeah.
do that for my clients too.
Right.
Yeah, and I want to jump on that real quick. And that's something that I will, when I do an in-person with a client and I'm, editing the wardrobe and then bringing in the new pieces and then doing the styling, that I will reorganize their closet. And I love, I do it a little bit different, Tavia, than you, but I put it by color and then by type. So I do, mix, but you can just very quickly see, okay, I have X colors, this type, and I just do it, darkest to lightest, so they can just see everything and just grab and go. But I feel like having that really organized closet, however you do it, again, is just a great way to set yourself up for getting out the door or getting to your event or getting to anything that you need to, pop out to easy and successfully and confidently.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I echo a lot of that. I guess the only thing I would add is, while you're pre-planning, think about the weather, of course, think about what you're going to be doing. I mean, that's a part of the whole pre-planning, right? Is what am I doing this week? What spaces am I in? What do I need to be wearing? When you take the time and you're intentional about deciding that ahead of time, then it makes your mornings so much less
easier.
stressful,
Yep.
right? So, and that's what we want to help with. And then you're also in the mindset of you can focus on just showing up as your very best self. You've already decided what you want to wear, and it's already something that you love in your closet, right? So it makes it easy. We're all about creating that ease in your wardrobe and getting dressed. So I guess we're going to bring this to a close. And I just want to say, if this conversation resonated with you, drop something in the comments. Let us know what you think. Give us feedback. And then, of course, if you're ready to step into your next style, be sure to connect with us here on LinkedIn. Each of us, cater to different types. Both Tavia and Amanda work with men and women. I work with women exclusively. But, contact us. We'd love to talk with you and answer any questions that you may have offline. And just remember that your wardrobe really should be your greatest asset, not a source of stress, right?
Yep.
And it's really important for you to make it work for you, not against you.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us today, and we cannot wait to see you again.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.